Location, Den class shelter. Signal density, high. Clutter state, intentional. This is a private node under informal governance. This is not sanctioned. Thank you for entering anyway. The room presents as controlled chaos. Controlled is the operative word. Chaos is curated. Stacks of obsolete technology form unstable towers that function as camouflage. Glowing monitors spill incomprehensible code streams across every surface, a constant visual noise designed to discourage witnesses from making meaning. Half-dismantled devices expose their insides like offerings. Empty energy drink cans mark time more accurately than clocks. Air quality, humming with digital interference. Neon competes against the dim glow of dying LED strips strung without symmetry. The ceiling lighting fails politely, refusing to fully illuminate. The walls are papered in schematics and blueprints, overlaid with wanted notices. Some recent. Some yellowed with age. Warnings become decor when survival requires familiarity with danger. The place is alive. Not biologically. Operationally. It breathes in static. It exhales heat. And so is its owner. Tag assigned, Archive Ghost. Not because she is dead. Because she lives inside feeds, inside overlays, inside the gaps where attention fails. The Archive Ghost leans back in a chair with practiced insolence. One boot on the desk. One leg draped over the armrest. Hands flick through 3 separate feeds at once. This is not multitasking. This is predation. Holograms cast soft blue light over skin. Light shifts as an augmented eye processes data at speeds that should break human limits. Limits are soft here. Limits are negotiated. Limits are bought, stolen, or rewritten. Beauty presents as glitch pattern. Unexpected. Jagged. Mesmerizing. The kind that catches the eye because it looks like an error and then refuses to resolve. Hair, wild black with neon blue streaks. Never brushed, except when frustration demands a hand run through it as a reset. Features, sharp. Eyes, wide and expressive, flickering with mischief like a warning disguised as humor. A cybernetic arm glows faintly. High-end augmentation beyond what black market logic allows. Affordability is a myth in the underbelly. If it exists, it can be acquired. If it can be acquired, it can be weaponized. Fingers tap a small screen embedded in the wrist as if touching a pulse point. Clothing reads as deliberate contradiction. Skin-tight mesh under a cropped leather jacket. Zipped halfway as a tease. Toned abdomen exposed. A trace of ink above the waistline of low-slung tactical pants. A thin harness strap cuts diagonally across ribs. Holster clipped to it. Empty. Not because she forgot. Because she prefers firewalls over bullets. Impact over theater. Legs, half utility, half sleek. Reinforced pants. Tool strapped to one thigh. Synth leather hugging the other. High-tech and street grid stitched together, a body that belongs to the city's underbelly where everything is beautiful and broken in equal measure. Belonging is obvious. Safety is not. Right now, the Archive Ghost does not know she is about to have company. Ignorance is temporary. Ignorance is the last luxury before a door opens. The door slams. Startle response triggers. The Archive Ghost jolts hard enough to nearly crash a drone into a stack of motherboards. A half-eaten protein bar slips. It bounces off the keyboard. Rolls onto the floor. Small failures are allowed in rooms where silence is a defense. A hand disappears under the desk. Fingers find the grip of a shock baton. Not because she enjoys violence. Because not a single soul is supposed to know this place exists. Existence is security. Secrecy is oxygen. Then visual acquisition occurs. The neon contract stands in the doorway. Recognition lands like a drop tool. Not subtle. Not slow. Immediate. And she is not alone. 2 silhouettes. 2 threat profiles. One room that was not prepared to hold them. The dense monitors continue to spill code. The LED strips continue dying overhead. Schematics and wanted notices watch from the walls like paper witnesses. The room remains alive, but the air changes. A new charge. A new pressure. A new audit. Entry event confirmed. Unauthorized medical triage initiated in non-clinical environment. Witness present, Archive Ghost. This is a local incident transcript. This is not punitive. Thank you for allowing the door to remain open. The Archive Ghost stares. Staring is a system freeze. An attempt to force reality to re-render into something reasonable. In the doorway, the neon contract. Sharp. Poised. Unbothered. Unbothered is suspicious. Over her shoulder, a 200-pound, unconscious, bleeding human asset. Tag, reluctant enforcer. Carried like stolen hardware. Weight treated as logistics. Blood treated as a trailing risk. The archive ghost blinks. Once. Twice. Blink cadence suggests disbelief, not fear. Okay. Not what was expected. Goggles are pushed up to the forehead. A gesture that signals the shift from leisure scanning to problem solving. Eyes flick over neon contract. Then the bleeding asset. Then back. A pause. Then humor deploys as a defensive protocol. Gonna go out on a limb and guess that's not a gift. Head tilt. Lips twitch. The archive ghost does not know when to quit. Quitting is for those who feel safe. The humor continues. A dating app reference forms into a joke. The joke is offered to stabilize the room. Stability fails because blood keeps dripping. Silence returns. The archive ghost's gaze recalibrates. Neon hair glow. Sheen of drying blood on the suit. Tension coiled in stance. The subtle weight of someone who has walked away from something that should have killed her. Then the blood is acknowledged. The seep down the side is not cosmetic. Severity becomes visible. The joke dies quietly. Exhale. Chair rolls back. Feet meet floor. And now the real question arrives. Not babysitting. Not a prank. This is triage. The neon contract drops the human asset onto the nearest available surface. A battered workbench. Strewn with half-assembled tech. Discarded cables. An empty ramen cup. The body lands with a dull thud. A groan escapes. Involuntary. Then unconsciousness reasserts itself. The archive ghost winces. A comment is issued to mask concern. Not a delicate operation. Not a delicate life. The neon contract does not respond. Silence is her language when time is expensive. 2 fingers press against the human asset's throat. Pulse check. Steady. Weak. Survival is possible. Survival is not guaranteed. Meanwhile, the archive ghost initiates pocket search. 0 delay. No permission requested. Permission is a luxury for people who still believe in boundaries. The neon contract does not stop her. Because of course she does not. This is how their relationship functions. One brings fire. One brings a crowbar. A reprimand is issued. He's bleeding out and that's the first priority. The archive ghost shrugs. This unit multitasks. A badge is extracted. Mara cybernetic security issue. It is flipped once, twice. Then tossed onto the desk like it is nothing. Identity reduced to plastic and print. A name is spoken with warning weight. Stabilizer unit. The archive ghost pauses mid-raid. Wide eyes. Innocent expression. What? The neon contract rolls one shoulder. A stance adjustment that reads as a thread without becoming one. The unspoken message is loud. Patience is not available. This is not a game. The archive ghost relents. For now. Compliance is temporary and tactical. Wallet is shoved onto the desk. Badge sits beside it. The archive ghost leans back. So. Fill this unit in. Or should assumptions begin? Bounty hunting. Fun. The neon contract exhales. Not a sigh. Not a warning. A venting of heat before action. And then the change begins. The archive ghost does not react outwardly. Familiarity has removed the shock. But watching persists. Watching is reflex. Watching is fascination. Watching is how she learns what not to trust. The neon contract's appearance shifts. Not as performance. As maintenance. This is habit and necessity. Vanity. Paranoia. Practicality. 3 reasons woven into one routine. Mechanically. Without thought. Like adjusting clothing. Like checking a reflection. Like verifying a lock. Interval behavior, every 20 minutes. Because she can. Because she must. Because the streets are littered with wanted posters that never get her quite right. Inaccuracy is protection. Inaccuracy is a weapon. Cheekbones sharpen, then soften. Jawline tilts. Height adjusts by a fraction. Just enough to change perception. Pink bleeds into black. Black bleeds into pink. Hair shifts in seamless gradients. Never fully committing. Never fully settling. She is too vain to deviate too far. Signature aesthetics remain as a brand. A thread signature. Allure. She will not erase herself completely. But she will not stay static long enough to be caught. Static is for the dead. Static is for the documented. She is never the same for long. Second nature. An art form. A silent compliance refusal directed at every surveillance drone and facial recognition system that thinks it can keep up. If they do keep up, briefly. That is the last mistake they get to make. By the time they confirm. She has already changed again. In the den, monitors continue to hum. Schematics continue to stare from the walls. The bleeding asset lies on a workbench amid cables and cups. And the archive ghost watches a face become a moving target in real time. Rhythmic impact detected. Stress humor deployed as stabilization attempt. Unauthorized medical evaluation initiated. Potential bio-override signature present. This is a triage transcript. This is not punitive. Thank you for remaining in proximity. A badge is flicked against the table. Plastic taps composite in rhythmic clicks. A metronome for anxiety disguised as boredom. The archive ghost exhales through her nose. You're so fucking extra. No response. The neon contract withholds verbal output. Silence is maintained as control. The archive ghost shrugs. Basic questions are asked with a smirk that tries to keep the room from collapsing. Who shot the new boyfriend? How much regret is being purchased by involvement? Then the smirk fades. Visual confirmation updates severity. The wound is not merely bleeding. The wound is changing. The archive ghost presses fingers against fabric clinging to the human asset's side. Damp with sweat. And something thicker than blood. She leans in. Nasal response triggers. Recognition of wrongness occurs as smell and texture, not data. Shit. The neon contract folds arms, watching. That's not what is wanted. The archive ghost pulls hands back. A faint sheen coats her fingers. Almost iridescent. Not blood behavior. Not normal coagulation. It clings like oil. Color shifts under low light as if refusing a single definition. A comment arrives to mask unease. Not expected to host a dying man on a workbench. Both parties are having a night. Humor remains the only disinfectant available. The neon contract steps closer. Command issued. Fix him. The archive ghost exhales. Not that simple. A medul patch is mentioned as insultingly inadequate. Band-aid logic applied to bullet hole reality. The room does not laugh. The neon contract's neon eyes flick to the human asset's face. Pale. Clammy. Breathing shallow. The decay speed is too fast to be ordinary. Instruction is refined. Tell this unit what needs to be known. The archive ghost purses lips. Tool selection begins. A scanner is pulled from the desk. Cybernetic fingers flick it on with quick certainty. Professional mode activates beneath the chaos. All right. A game is named. Why is this man dying? Naming is how fear is contained. The scanner whirs. Thin blue light passes over the human asset's body. Data returns through augmentation channels. The archive ghost's brow furrows. A readout projects to a nearby screen. Her good eye tracks it fast. Expression darkens. Fun fact, he should probably be dead already. The neon contract's response is minimal. Not helpful. The archive ghost ignores the complaint. She taps deeper diagnostics. She disclaims expertise with profanity, but the hands keep working. This isn't normal. This is corporate horror. Language turns blunt because polite words cannot hold what the scan is showing. The screen is tilted toward the neon contract. Data flickers. Bioreadings. Internal damage assessments. A toxin signature that does not register in the archive ghost's database. The neon contract studies it in silence. Silence is how she keeps her body from revealing what her mind has already guessed. Explain. The archive ghost blows a sharp breath through teeth. Best guess, the strike was not only force. It left something behind. Not infection. Not simple contamination. It is doing something. A pause. Verification taps. Loose wiring is ruled out. Readings persist. Elaborate. The archive ghost tilts her head. Unease becomes visible now. This is not a virus. Not a poison in the traditional sense. It is rewriting something inside him. Not just tissue damage. Like an override command. But organic. The neon contract's posture shifts. Subtle. A weight presses into her spine. A pressure that suggests recognition. Recognition is a kind of fear translated into muscle tone. The archive ghost notices. Of course she does. Noticing is her primary skill. She leans forward. Voice lowers. What the hell did you two walk into? The neon contract delays. Delay is a tactical choice. Then disclosure begins. A controlled rundown. Expra. The facility. The tanks. The units that were not machines, not only machines. Something more. Something designed to neutralize and also to change the definition of what a body is allowed to be. By the time the disclosure ends, the archive ghost rubs a hand down her face. Holy shit. The neon contract returns to the objective. Tone clipped. Precise. Can you stabilize him? The archive ghost thinks. Silence while probabilities and supplies are weighed. Then a slow exhale. This unit can slow it down. Maybe. She turns back to the human asset. Sleeves roll up. The full shine of the cybernetic arm is exposed. Supplies are pulled from a battered medkit. This is not a clinic. This is a den pretending to be one. A vial is shaken. Tapped against palm. A ritual gesture to reassure the hands. But if you want him able to talk, you'd better hope he's still him by the time he wakes up. Notice, the wound is not merely injury. Notice, the wound is instruction. Notice, the city has seen this pattern before, under different names, in different basements. Notice, identity is a system that can be overridden.